This is a microchipping party. Hannah's getting an electronic chip implanted into her hand. She believes one day we'll all be chipped like her.
So congratulations, Hannah.
Thank you.
You've been chipped.
Yes, I have.
How does it feel?
It feels good. I'm excited to see what I'll be able to do now.
Can I touch it?
Yeah, you can feel it there. I feel like this is the future. It's the next big thing that's gonna happen. Happy cyborg birthday.
Happy cyborg birthday to you.
Thank you.
Remember therefore how thou hast received and heard, and hold fast and repent. If therefore thou shalt not watch, I will come on thee as a thief, and thou shalt not know what hour I will come upon thee. Revelation chapter 3, verse 3. Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rechak Wadash. Double honors to our venerable apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and blessings to the Lord's elect, the house of David. All right, so Brother Aharon coming back at you with another lesson, Lord willing to be edifying and uplifting unto the elect. All right, and just want to bring out some information real quick. All right, and few days removed from the information that dropped, all right, in regards to the White House memorandum, all right, going into the 6G technology and so on and so forth. All right, and on Saturday through the Spirit, we went into that. All right, focused on a lot of the information that they have, and specifically highlighting within that memorandum, talking about the implantable devices. Okay, so the government is pretty much letting it be known, all right, that the MOTB, all right, is something that they're working on, eventually making mandatory upon the face of the earth. Okay, and very soon every man, woman, and child is going to be required, okay, by law, to identify themselves through no other way but having this device implanted underneath your skin. All right, this is something that they've been working on for years, and now it's time for them to actually reveal these devices. Okay, and of course, you have DJ Trump, all right, Nero 47. All right, Nero Redivivos, all right, coined by the elder Apostle Tahar. Okay, and he's tied in. He is the president, but he's tied into a lot of these people that have a lot of power. Okay, and power to influence, all right, the direction in which the world is going into. All right, these are the people that the scriptures talk about, all right, when it goes into the highlighting who the man of sin is. All right, Trump is one of those people. All right, it goes into the Antichrist. You know how these Christians believe that there's just one Antichrist. Well, the scriptures tell you, all right, in the book of 1 John, that there are many Antichrists. Okay, there are many Antichrists. So Esau Edom is at the point where he's starting to reveal himself for who he is. All right after the truth came out and exposed him, now he has no choice but to just come out with it. Okay, and one person that we're going to talk about and highlight, all right, is Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner. Okay, and we're going to read a little bit about his investments and what he's up to, all right, in regards to bringing about this fulfillment of the MOTB prophecy. Okay, so let's read. This is an article going all the way back to 2017, but it ties all into what's going on come 2026. All right, so it says President Kushner owns 666 building where the mark of the beast CHIP is developed. Okay, it says more and more info continues to come out about U.S. President Donald Trump, or Donald Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner, which we weren't aware of back in 2016 during the elections. You have got to prepare spiritually for this, because what you're about to read will turn you upside down, no matter if you're a Christian or an atheist. Turns out the billionaire president son-in-law Jared Kushner owned a New York City building called 666 Fifth Avenue. Okay, now that is the name. All right, that is the name of the building. It says the building bears the number 666 as if it is the street number, but no, it is not. It's the building's name. Okay, so the building itself is named 666 Fifth Ave. All right. And the scriptures tell you that the number of his name, all right, is the 603 score and six. All right, everything about this devil, you're gonna see, all right, some type of numerology that adds up to 6 in some form or fashion, because it carries a vibration on the left hand side. Okay, and it's also an identifier of who they are in terms of events that's happening around the face of the earth or upon the face of the earth, who's behind it. All right, cui bono, who stands to benefit. So they always put their stamp of approval on it for the insiders to see them, be like, oh, okay, all right, cool. All right, we on board with this. Right, so you might see something like the World Economic Forum, and they'll cleverly have the W in the world, the W in the economic, and then the W in the forum. All right, when you actually look at it, it's designed to look like 666. Okay, when you look at Google's which we'll call it their Chrome, right, the Google Chrome logo. All right, when you actually look at it, it's a 666. Okay, so they delve heavily into esoteric numerologies and symbols, and backmasking into languages. They do all these things. All right, it's all witchcraft. Okay, you got people today don't believe that there's actually high level witches who walk around the face of the earth today. They are. They just design it into technology so you don't see it. Okay. So continuing, it says, the building is located right between 52nd and 53rd Streets in Midtown Manhattan, New York City. And I remember this building. I remember when I used to work downtown, I used to work right on Fifth Ave, and I used to pass by that building all the time, And I used to be like, man, this shit is actually called 666. I used to really think about it like, yo, these people are bold, man. Because like, that's not something you even put on yourself. That's how you know this is actually the man of sin, because normal people think of 666 and you already associated with the devil. So you're not even going to play around with that. Like at least when we were kids growing up, you just be like, nah, bro, I'm not, 666. Nah, that's the devil's number, bro. Nah, that's satanic. Like you shun that. But these people, they embrace that because that's who they are. That's the spirit that they come in with. Okay. As a matter of fact, let's get that real quick. There's a book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. All right. In verse 7, it says, for the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. So they got these secret societies, all right, that worship Satan. Okay. And the debauchery and the satanic rituals that they perform, if it was to be put out on Front Street, people in their right mind at least will burn these niggas at the stake, man. All right. They do all kinds of child sacrifices. All right. When the scriptures talk about Jake was doing sacrifices unto Baal, right? Sacrificing your children and passing them through the fire unto Molech and all that. That shit is all done till today. Okay. When these children are going missing and all that, they talk about trafficking and all that. What do you think they're using all these children for, man? All right. When they got all these underground bunkers and all these different things, these woods, they do all these meetings, these summits. All right. These get-togethers, these meetings that only them can go to. What do you think they're doing over there? What do you think is actually happening? These are high-level priests of Baal niggas that wear suits and walk around, suits and ties, and walk around and tell you how to live your life. These people engage in high-level witchcraft, man. All right. High-level witchcraft. You see them in Hollywood. Okay. You see them on TV in politics, right? You see them as presidents. Like the whole world is being ran by pedos and freaking Satanists, man. But yet we are anti-Semites for talking about it. Yo, man, this place got to go. All right. It says verse 8. It says, and then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. All right. These are all things that's happening right now, right? The Lord is revealing this devil and consuming in the spirit of his mouth through the prophets, starting with our elders and apostles of Great Millstone on down. Okay. The whole world is waking up to Esau, Edom, and who he is and what he's all about, what his agendas are, all right, what his plans are, and ultimately what his judgment and what his end will be according to biblical prophecy. All right. So all you preterists out there, guess what? I'm coming for you niggas next. All right, the next one we're gonna get on your helmets. All right, the preterist ideology, talking about all the prophecies have already happened. Yeah, no. You don't get to escape like that. All right, so 2 Thessalonians 2 verse 9, it says, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders. Okay, through their way of what? Their technology. All right, but he's coming after the working of Satan, the energia, the spirit of Satan. All right, spiritual demon Satan has a physical counterpart upon the face of the earth. Okay, they don't want to be like the Most High. They want to outdo the Most High. They want to do the inversion of the Most High. All right, the Most High in wickedness. That's what this devil want to be. Okay, so it says Jared Kushner's own office is located in this building. The building also used to have a bigger 666 logo, which has now been replaced by Citibank, right? So when you see it, it looks like Citibank, but that's actually what's going on in there in that building. Now check this out. This is the real part I want to talk about, okay? In this building, Lucent Technologies operates and does research into RFID CHIPs meant to be implanted into your right hand. Yeah, the mark of the beast. Okay? And this article is verbatim saying it. I'm reading it word for word. All right? This is back in 2017. This article that we're reading. So think of almost 10 years later. All right? Almost 10 years later, because we're about to enter into 2026. Hard to believe, right? Shit is crazy, right? But almost 10 years later, how far do you think they've advanced if this has been the plan the whole time? Don't forget 2017, we saw 3 Square Market. 3 Square Market, bro. All right? 3-2. What do you see in there? All right? Market, buying and selling. So they put it right there. Okay? But they had CHIP their employees at work. So they could access the vending machine and, access their office building. Okay? It served as their ID. So they've already tested that shit out. Okay? And 3 Square Market is a private company. Last time I checked. Guess who's taking over all the jobs around the country? Private companies. So they can easily just come up with a policy. Yo, the bank is a private company. Yeah, we don't want to deal with you no more. You are a liability to us. Unless you take the CHIP, we can't identify you. Whoa, shit, we're not going to be banking. We're not going to be supporting no terrorists, domestic terrorists. We're shutting up your bank account, man. You know? This is what they're planning to do. To fulfill this prophecy, this is how they're doing it. It's all through deception. Just as the scripture said. Deceive them that receive the MOTB. Okay? It says they use an operating system called Inferno. Okay? The name Lucent is also strikingly similar to Lucifer. Okay? Isn't that what Albert Pike said? A 33-degree Mason. Isn't that what he said? That at the end of it all, when after these nations have exhausted themselves, all the religions are pretty much like fought themselves and devastated themselves to the point where they're just exhausted. Then they're gonna come out with the true Luciferian doctrine, is what he said. I'm like, what the fuck? This nigga, yo, these people gotta go, man. They out their minds, bro. They are out their minds, man. All right. And this is what we're warning about. And you got people still, yo, man. Yeah, keep playing. About you, the white man. Why can't the white man be saved? This ain't about a white man or a black man. This is about Edomites and Israelites. All right. One is the wicked satanic brother, and one is a righteous brother. All right. The descendants of the satanic brother. All right. The Lord has judgment against them for being wicked. He set them up that way to be wicked so he could destroy them. And then he's going to save the ones that he said to be righteous, the Israelites, starting with the elect. It's a very simple story. Okay? It's the same as the same story of good versus evil. Okay? And last time I checked, even when you watch these movies, the good guy doesn't finally beat the bad guy's ass and then decide, you know, we're going to live happily ever after. No, happily ever after happens after the bad guy is completely demolished and annihilated. Once he's out of there. But that never happens until he's out of there. You notice in the movies, the good guy, when he beats the bad guy down, finally, and he decides, I'm going to let go and, I'm just going to leave him, just let him live. When you don't end it, the bad guy comes back. And then now there's another fight scene and you're like, why didn't you just finish this nigga off already? You get mad. See? But in this story, this bad guy gets shackled up. He serves 1,000 years in slavery for all the things that he did towards the good guys. Okay? And all the bad things that he's planning to do against all the good guys and everybody else around. All right? But then the ultimate good guy is going to come in and he's going to stop this motherfucker right in his tracks. Destroy his whole empire, his data centers, all that is going to be up in flames. Okay? His system of control up in flames. That system that he's going to use to oppress everybody else. How has the golden city seized? How has the oppressor seized? All right, the hammer of the earth. All these different attributes that the Lord gave to this madman. He's going to destroy it all. Okay? Shackle him up and then bring peace. The peace that we need. It says these C-HIPs are already being used. The U.S. Congress handed the government authority to micro-C-HIP people with mental disabilities. That's why Elon Musk is doing what he's doing right now with Neuralink. I believe they already have about, is it 20 or 25 people by the end of 2025? I think they already hit that number already. Okay? It says just recently, it also came to our attention that Jared Kushner was sponsored by George Soros with $259 million. So now, you got this whole connection going on. All right, with the Trumps, you know what I'm saying? The Clintons, all that. Now, it says if you're a Christian, then you should be able to connect the dots. Here as according to the Bible, the Bible's book of Revelation 13, 16, 17, and 18, right? We always bring that out. That no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark. We always bring that out, right? These people are also bringing it out. And they're connecting it. Okay? Revelation 13 verse 16 says, and he causeth all both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom, let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for his number of a man, and his number is 666. Okay? So it says, this is exactly why these C-HIPs are being made, to eliminate physical cash and replace it with virtual money. This is what we've been saying for years, man. Starting from the apostles on down, bro, we've been saying this for years. It's crazy that we're so close to this prophecy being fulfilled, man. Okay, because they're taking steps that leads to this. Eliminating cash, that's something they've been trying to say. Cashless societies. You have countries right now that are cashless right now as we speak. Okay? Again, go to Sweden. They don't use cash over there, man. It says without these C-HIPs being produced in the 666 building, you wouldn't be able to buy from your local store or sell, since the money will be just some points attributed to your C-HIP, right? The CBDC, programmable money. Okay? They don't even call it money. They call it programmable currency. That's what they call it. Right? Because that's not money. That's not true money. All right? It says now, even if you're an atheist, these things should still give you the creeps. It doesn't matter if you believe in these things or not. They believe in them. And it's more than enough to give you the chills because they're working around the clock to make it happen. That's right. Okay? Literally, man. All right? Scripture says what they do a diligent search. All right? Their everything, their inward thought is deep. Okay? And while we're reading, all right, there was one company, all right, that we mentioned. We're going to read about that company right now. It's called Lucent. All right, Lucent Technology. Okay, and it's 666 Lucent Technology on the 6th floor. All right. Recently, it was announced that AT&T has split into 3 separate companies. Actually, you know what? There's this one here that I really want to bring out. There's a little bit of information before we get into Lucent Tech, right? So let's read a little bit about this, right? It says, the making of human cyber slaves, right? And in order for them to do that, they have to, change people's DNA and all that stuff. They already have the tech that's doing that right now. mRNA, CRISPR, all right? We always bring these things out, okay? Gene editing, all that stuff, okay? It says, Is the corporate world actively involved in helping Big Brother government enslave mankind through the forcing of a global high-tech order? Corporate says blood money, corporate profiteering, and the making of human cyber slaves is the title of a book. The staggering information revealed in that chapter demonstrates just how far corporate or commercial, which is tied to Mystery Babylon in Revelation 18, is willing to go in building the silicon cages into which all of us are to be herded like mini chattel or cattle. Okay? A C hit behind everyone's ear. All right. Consider, for example, what Ronald Kane, vice president of Cubic Corporation, a top maker of high-tech control systems, had to say recently about the profit potential of the implantable bio-C-hip. Quote, if we had our way, Kane remarked, we would implant a C-hip behind everyone's ear in the maternity ward. End quote. So that's already in their head. This is what they plan to do. All right. Today, the making of human cyber slaves is a highly profitable enterprise. Okay. The Lord, the book of Job tells you that the Lord is going to disappoint the hands of the crafty, that they cannot perform their enterprise. Their hands cannot perform their enterprise, man. Okay. So they use the same exact words. Okay. It says the business of creating human cyber slaves translates into big money. Trillions of dollars are at stake for able corporations supplying government with computerized smart ID cards, iris scanning devices, DNA blood analysis equipment, fingerprint digitization, video displays, and other forms of human control technology. That's all digitization right there. Everything going into AI and smart tech. Okay? Remember, this is all to enable the fourth industrial revolution, which Klaus Schwab said what? It's coming at breakneck speed, like a tsunami, you know? He said the fourth industrial revolution doesn't change, what we are doing. It changes you. If you take gene editing, for example, it changes you, So this is their plan, bro. They don't just come out and say these things just to sound cool. Like, oh yeah, gene editing, wow. Nah. They're telling you, it's called the revelation of the method. They got to tell you straight up to your face, this is what we're doing. Yeah, this is what we're doing. I mean, how we're presenting it may not align with exactly what I'm saying, but this is what we're doing. See, we're telling you that, oh yeah, this is to save the day, and it makes your life easier and convenience, and you can make transactions around the world so much easier if you have this thing right in your body. You see, your identity, you can protect your identity much, much better now. You have privacy and security and all that. But yeah, we want to converge man and robots and control them. Yeah. Well, I mean, So it says, here, stock market, NASDAQ, records indicate how very lucrative the making of silicon cages can be. Recently, the stock of one tiny company comparator shot up an astounding 2,900% in just 3 days. This occurred after the company's CEO announced that comparator had invented an advanced type of portable biometric fingerprint identification device. Ooh. Okay. Let's see here. Interesting. Let's read this. It says, from the look of things, if enough money were to exchange hands, most of America's giant multinational corporations would, today, eagerly compete to build better and more modern concentration camps and more efficient guillotines. In other words, these greedy corporate chieftains have no scruples about making blood money. All right, because it's all about control. It ain't really too much about blood per se. It's about control over man, over everything, control over everything, bro. All right, to be like the Most High, to have power over your mind, your body, your spirit, what you're thinking, what you're doing, what you're feeling. Trump said it. You have technology to go underneath the skin. That's all, man. Okay, So now let's read a little bit about Lucent technology, right? It says, some corporations seem to take strange delight in their provocative activities. Take Lucent Technologies, for instance. In a recent edition of Flashpoint, I asked of this AT&T spin-off corporation, does AT&T's new Baby Bell have horns? In announcing the creation of Lucent earlier this year, AT&T unveiled the new corporation's mysterious logo, a rough-edged red-colored circle. In response, I noted, and I'm going to read the notes, but just a quick comment. Well, I need some water in my throat. Dry. It's like, yeah. So it says a rough-edged red-colored circle. All right, the color red. All right. Remember in Revelation, the 6th chapter, it talks about the red horse, and power was given to him that to take peace out of the earth. Right. So red is also symbolic for Adawam, which is Edom, and Edom means red. Okay. Edom is red. All right. Adawam, which means red. Okay. So that's also their color. So their number is 666. All right. They carry the 6 vibration. All right. And their color is red. Okay. So it says, in response, I noted, to occultists, the circle represents their satanic deity. Why? Because they come in the spirit of Satan. All right. They actually worship Satan. This goes back to ancient Babylonian pagan customs. Okay. Everything that the right hand side does, the devil does on the left hand side. All right. The Lord requires sacrifices. These devils also do sacrifices. Everything is an inversion. Okay. So it says, of course, AT&T's choice of a rough, esoteric-looking red circle for the corporate image of its bright new spin-off, Lucent Technologies, could have been purely coincidental. Surely, the influential, unselfish bigwigs who are leading this behemoth multinational organization into the brave new world of the 21st century had no malevolent intent, right? And the gentleman who works in management at AT&T and wrote me of his belief that the name Lucent, okay, Lucent, right, Lucent, stands for Lucifer's Enterprises. Okay, so they put it right in your face, and then they tell you like it's like a joke. It's like they're mocking you. Only in America, man. You know, again, Babylon the Great. Okay, the mother of harlots. All right, all the evil. Let's get that. All right, the book of Revelation, chapter 17. The book of Revelation, chapter 17, and verse 5, it says, and upon her head, as a matter of fact, let's read it for a little bit at the top. There's the book of Revelation, chapter 17, and verse 4, it says, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. All right, that goes into what? The immoralities, okay, the impurities, the culture of America, the toxic culture of America. All right, an example would be feminism. All right, another example would be allowing Moses to be, married and free, going completely against the scriptures, man. Talking about you're free to do whatever you want. All right, that the do what thou will spirit. Okay, the concept of you could worship any old god you want. Okay, the Bible, the God of the Bible is just an option. You know what I'm saying? He created you, but you have an option whether to worship him or not. Yeah, I hired you to come do this job here to work for me in my company, but you have an option to listen to me whatever you want, or you don't listen. It's up to you. Yeah, that makes sense, right? But this is what America pushes, right? The sexualization of children. Okay, you're forcing children to be adults and adults to be children nowadays. All right, and let's not even go into the system itself and how debauched it is. We don't even got to go into that. All right, but verse 5 it says, and upon her forehead was a name written Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. Okay? All the worst parts of humanity, all right, stems from this place known as America Babylon the Great. And how do they do that? They do that through their stupid fucking media that started with the Jews, or you know who's, all right, in Hollywood. Okay, through Hollywood, they were able to influence the minds and the culture. They changed culture. You know something called pop culture? Popular culture was influenced by the Jays through Hollywood. All right. So a lot of things that people accept today as America's culture was influenced and designed by the Jays through Hollywood. And when you go into that word Hollywood, it goes into the word the satanic wand that these priests will use, all right, to cast their spells, the broadcasting spells on the people, the minds of the people, the controlling of the minds of the people, all right, by the hollow wood, okay, that the ancient druids would use, all right. So this thing goes, listen, man, they resurrect a lot of these things, okay? And then they mask it behind entertainment. How is it that Taylor Swift can go on stage and be doing all kinds of satanic rituals and throwing up the Baphomet and all that, you know, the devil horns and all that shit, man? Doing a circus dance, all right, in the middle of a fiery pyramid, a satanic Baphomet on the damn ground, man, on stage, you know, wearing red, acting like she, you know, there's blood and all. Yeah, it's just all this shit that they be doing, bro. People wearing all black or all red hoodies, running around on stage holding pitchforks and shit like that. And you talking about, oh, you guys are preaching hate. What? They got this thing in Las Vegas right now. It's like this, like a ball, right? It's like a stadium, or I don't know what the fuck this is. It's some weird shit. And it does all these designs. And yo, they using it for all kinds of different satanic shit. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like, damn. You know? But any form of, they got a place called Sin City. All right. America got a place called Sin City in Vegas. All right. So, man, look, man, this place is ripe for the cooking. All right. This place is that place that's spoken of. Do you think America is never spoken of in the scriptures? Revelation, read Revelation 17, read Revelation 18. All right. That's America. All right. That is America in the Bible. Okay. For those who don't know. Okay, John saw America, Babylon the Great, America that we're living in. That's written of in the book of Revelation. And what's the prophecy that ends with that America? She gets burned by fire. Okay, so all these data centers these elites are investing in is all going to go up in flames. All right, because that's going to be their control grid. That's how they're going to run AI to control society. But guess what? The Lord's going to put all that shit up in flames. All right, all this Lucent technology, all this Lucifer Enterprise bullshit, yeah. Is all going to go up in flames. Okay? It says Lucent, infernal, hellish similarities. It deserves mention that the name Lucent is remarkable in its similarity to lucid or lucid, Lucid, which I'm convinced means Lucifer's ID system. All right? Lucifer ID. All right? So this guy out here he's getting down, man. He's bringing out that heat. All right? So it says here, but what really set my adrenaline flowing is the report just released by Lucent Technologies touting its latest innovation, a revolutionary, remember that word, it's revolutionary, it's science, cutting edge technology. And they're going to present that C-Hip right there. You're going to have Dr. Oz, you know what I'm saying? Fauci, if he pops his nasty monkey head ass back out, he's going to be touting it. All right. RFK, he's going to be out there pushing it. All right. Gil Bates, you know what I'm saying? He got a lawsuit on his head. He got to worry about that. But if he's not, guess what? He's going to be touting it, pushing it. All these tech giants, they all going to be pushing it, man. All right. Because it's for them, it's very important. They need you to pledge your allegiance. It's very important to them. It's like, we got one from the God himself. Yeah. You know? Yeah, sick people, man. All right. But there's the revolutionary. It's an innovation. A revolutionary new network operating system and programming environment, right? Look into 6G. The name of this new Lucent product staggered my imagination. It's called Inferno. Okay? Which means what? Fire or hell, like they say. Okay, ultimately that inferno is referring to America's destruction. That's that hell that's gonna be on fire, man. Okay. So yeah, man, they setting up what is known as the electronic Tower of Babel. All right. And the Lord is going to destroy all that. Just like he did with the Tower of Babel, he's going to do the same thing, because there's no new thing under the sun. All right. So let me get a little bit more here. Actually, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think that's pretty much it. You know, that's pretty much it on that. But yeah, there's a little bit more information on that Lucent technology. And that actually it's a company, all right, that's also in the 666 building. Okay. And Lucent it goes back to looking up something called Lucent Trust. Okay, I might have done a lesson on that some time ago, but if not, I might have to revisit that. All right, Lucent Trust. Okay, which when it first came out back in when it was incorporated in 1922. All right, it was incorporated as Lucifer Publishing. Okay, Lucifer Publishing. That's Lucent Trust today. All right, so yeah, they put it out in your face, man. You see, and that's why let's finish off with this. Back to the book of Isaiah, chapter 47 and verse 12. It says, "Stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be thou shalt be able to profit, if so be thou mayest prevail. Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee." All right, so now it's time for the Lord, as is written in 2 Thessalonians. I think we brought it out. All right, that only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. All right, and now is the time for the Esau to be taken out of the way, man. All right, the Lord is about to take his ass up out of here, man. All right, he had a time to rule. It was for a purpose. Ultimately, if you really look at it, it was the Lord putting this devil on top of us to oppress us, to teach us a lesson. Brought us into slavery, into captivity, right? Destroyed our people, destroyed us, just as the Lord said. He was going to put that curse on us, okay? And destroy us as a nation, but he's going to build us back up, okay? And at the last day, he's going to deliver us through his son, Yahushua, all right? Known as the day of deliverance, also known as the day of judgment, okay? And that's only going to be done for the elect of the nation of Israel. That's what we're waiting for, man. All right. But before that happens, we're going to go through that hour of temptation, that time when these devils, all right, these tech giants decide that it's time for them to press upon, all right, the whole entire planet and force them, all right, to take that sea hip. Okay. But the Lord said he's going to deliver the elect from that time. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 10. It says, "Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth." Okay, so everybody's going to be tested. All right, when you go into that word try, all right, what kind of trial is this? It says what? The word try, it says the Greek word pirazo. All right, it says, to make trial, all right, to test one's faith, all right, by enticement to sin. Ooh, okay. What is that? All right, what is that? When you go into the root word of piriazo, you get pira. All right, it says a trial, experience, all right, attempt. It says attempt a thing, to make trial of a thing or of a person. Okay, so this thing is going to come out. It's going to be a test, number one, but it's also going to literally be called trials, medical trials, just like they did with the sea hip, with the jump shot. They're going to do with the sea hip. Okay, to have a trial of a thing, to experience, to learn, to know by experience. But it says here, through the idea of piercing. Okay, through the idea of piercing, man, to pierce. All right, piran. When you go into it a little bit further. Okay, how they going to pierce you? Through the what? Through the charaks. And they're going to pierce you and put in that charagma inside you. And that's going to serve as your badge of servitude, otherwise known as your digital ID. because everything is going to be tied into that ID. Okay? Today is going to be looked at as convenience. Tomorrow is going to be looked at as mandatory. Okay? And that's the trap that they're setting. They're going to deceive those that are going to take that CHIP. All right? And then ultimately, they're going to be destroyed by thermonuclear destruction. Anyway, I'm going to leave it off there. Lowell, you're edified and informed. In closing, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Ruach HaKodesh, the Wadi Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. Until next time, Shalom.